for a personal injury attorney? Look no further than Columbia, Louisiana. W. Mark McKee specializes in personal injury cases. He is located at 7134 Highway 165 in Columbia, Louisiana. Tell Mark you heard it right here on the Smoking Glass Hour with Beer and Glass. You may also contact Mark at 318-649-2622. That number again, 318-649-2622. Contact him today.
Hey, Mo.
Yes, Lou?
I think younger kids need to know the value of sacrifice.
Yes, I agree. There is one place they can learn about sacrifice. If they tune in on WMAD and the Smoking Glass Hour with Beer and Glass on Monday nights, they can learn. It's informative with current topics. And by the way, the show is hot.
The show is smoking hot.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Smoking Glass Hour with Beer and Glass. We are honored to have you as a guest tonight and want to thank each of you for your faithful support. Without further delay, allow me to introduce to you Mr. Beer and Glass. Mr. Glass, take it away.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Smoking Glass Hour with Beer and Glass on August the 1st, 2016. I want to apologize for Thursday night's show, which it was out of our hands. There was nothing that we could have done to prevent the show from airing. Every now and then, Blog Talk does what they call maintenance, which I'm assuming they update some of their software or whatever the case may be. Typically, we always receive some type of email that alerts us or makes us aware that there may be some roadblocks which would prevent us from actually having a show. However, last Thursday night, we didn't get that information, and we waited and we waited and we waited. As a matter of fact, we waited up until I believe it was 10 minutes to 8 or 5 minutes to 8, one or the other. Make a long story short, we tried our best. We were ready. We were able and we were prepared to do the show. Now, we know that the Republican National Convention has come and gone. We also know that the Democratic Party convention has come and gone. But before I give you a preview of what we're going to talk about, let me send out a few shout outs. I got Police Chief Mitch Bratton. I have the Sheriff, Clay Bennett, and I have one of the best personal injury attorneys around in this particular area, W. Mark McKee. Now, let me tell you, these three guys look absolutely nothing like me. And the reason why I'm saying that is because anytime I ask these guys to support any of my endeavors, in life, professionally or personally, they have never said no. So I want to send a special shout out to these guys for always supporting me in what I do. And when they need me, I support them. And the reason why I said that they look nothing like me is simply because of this. See, oftentimes we feel like people that look like us would do more for us, when in fact, sometimes it's the opposite of who we are that allows us to go where we want to go. Make a long story short, my point is this. Let's stop judging people based on who they are and start judging people based on what they do to us. Actions to me means more than anything. That's on a professional or a personal level. So at the end of the day, when the smoke is clear and the dust is settled. Also, I got my good buddy, my good friend, my good doctor, my good spiritual advisor, A.F. Riggins, out there on the line. I'm going to bring him in when I bring everybody else out. But I want to let you know that this guy took a 4,000-mile journey this past week. He, along with his wife and his two kids, they were able to go out and see what the country has to offer. And I'm going to let him briefly talk about that when we bring him in. But tonight, the question is this. What will you do now that the presidential candidates have made their case to the American voter? Will you sit on the sidelines and complain? Or will you vote for the candidate that best identifies with your philosophy? Will it be former First Lady, former Secretary of State, and former United States Senator Hillary Clinton? Or will it be businessman? I'm not sure if he's a billionaire or if he's a millionaire, because he won't release his taxes, so we don't know what he is. And then we know that we've caught him in a lot of lies. So for the sake of that adjective to describe him, will it be the Republican nominee, Donald Trump? You see, here's the issue. It's a defining moment in American history in 2016. You see, what we have going on right now is two ideologies that are so dramatically opposed to what constitutes the welfare of the country and its citizens. You see, the DNC, Democratic National Convention Committee, and the Republican National Convention Committee both have made their case to the American people to choose its next president of the United States. You see, both sides, the left and the right, have made it clear on the issues and policies they feel will move this country forward or set this country backwards. Tonight, once again, August the 1st, 2016, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can check us out at www.thesmokingglasshour.com, or if you don't want to sit on the sidelines and you want to get in the game and perhaps throw that long touchdown, or perhaps score that last winning bucket, or you just want to get involved, how about calling us right now at 773-897-6398. Again, 773-897-6398. And guess what? Your voice can and will be heard. We want you to know that right now, silence is no longer accepted in 2016. If you are silent, as far as I'm concerned, then you are a part of the problem that plagues us for the past 100, 200, 300, and 400 years of American history. Good night. We're talking tonight to Miss Nikki Bedrick. I know she's out there. I believe Paul is out there, and I believe Pastor Riggins is out there. If you don't mind, let me go to Dr. Riggins. A.F. Riggins, how you doing tonight?
How you doing, Barry?
Doing fine. Pastor, just briefly, I know you can do this in 30 seconds to a minute. Tell us, you don't have to tell us exactly where you went, but tell us how exciting it was for your kids to go out abroad 4,000 miles plus and actually see some of what the world has to offer, some of the people that you were actually able to engage in, and tell us what it was like for the past week or so.
Thanks, Barry. Thanks for being on tonight. We just took a road trip to wanted to go see nature, Grand Canyon, Yosemite Park. Also, they spent some time in Hollywood and Beverly Hills and San Francisco. See some of the sights on the West Coast. So it took about 7 days to do it, but my kids really enjoyed it. Part of understanding and growing in life is if they're not able to be exposed to other cultures or other environments, it helps them to have a broader view of the world. And so I was glad to take my family and go out and travel last week.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thanks for that, Pastor. Let me go to Nikki. How are you doing tonight?
I'm fine, Baron. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Paula, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Baron. How are you?
Doing fine. Kind of tired, but I got a 4-day crusade coming up. Crusade, working hard from sun up to sundown, but we're going to get it done. I'm not sure if Debbie is out there, if Aaron Hopkins or Vanessa, if they're out there. I'm going to pause briefly. If you're out there, just say hello. Aaron, Vanessa, or Deb, are you out there? There being no voices. Pastor Riggins. I ask you to come on, Nikki, you, Paula, and everybody else that's out there. Let's talk about the question. We know, Pastor, that the DNC and the RNC have made their pitch. Okay, do you think people are going to sit on the sidelines and complain, or will they actually get out there and vote? Let's basically talk about this. If there's anybody that's out there listening, I'm going to bring you in at some point in time. You can tell us who you're voting for, why you're voting for. We're not going to debate you. We're not going to argue with you, whatever. We just want to hear from the American people. Come on in, Pastor Riggins.
Yes, sir. Well, what I believe the Republican Party is hoping for, and it happens in the interim years like 2010, 2014, is for the voters to stay home. Because when you take polls take a snapshot of 1,000 people. And so, but it does not take the volume of the diversity of voters. And so the polls will have the candidates neck and neck based on if you had even across the same amount of people, like you have the same amount of voters that would be Anglo-American, same amount of voters that would be Hispanic Americans, same amount of voters would be African American, same amount of voters Asian American. But if the votes go out, vote, the election is leaning towards the Democrats. It's important. And from my standpoint, that's what I'm supporting, for the views of the guys I supported, that if we get into the fight, go out there and vote. The polls say 3 polls have Hillary Clinton at a 7 to 9 point CBS polls, CNN polls, and a couple other polls. And this is just off the convention before we have the controversies going on with Mr. Trump and Mr. Trump and the situation going on with him in Russia and Putin. So he has to be able to win Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Florida, and be able to win. And let's get to 273. You got to have 272. Let's get to 273. Win by 1 electoral vote. So if we go out and vote, if we're on the side of progress, we're on the side of not taking America back where he wants to take it back to. If we go out and vote, Hillary Clinton will become president of the United States. If folks stay home, it's going to be just like when they're voting for the congressional votes, and he'll slide in through the back door because of the apathy of the voters. That's what they're hoping will happen. So it's important that we go out and vote. I've noticed a couple people in the Republican side are sitting out. That's what's sitting out, the Republican side. I was just reading an article where George H.W. Bush, and Jeb Bush, all 3 of them are not voting. And there's going to be a lot of Republicans that have voted for Hillary Clinton and voted for Donald Trump, so sit out. That's going to be on the. So they have a greater chance of sitting out Democrats because Bernie Sanders have full voted endorsed Hillary Clinton, and we're going to see what has happened with the speech that the Democratic Convention was able to show the life, the back life, Hillary Clinton, her earlier life, and also the kind of causes we're fighting for that Donald Trump is now fighting against. So I think it's imperative that people go out and vote. Okay,
Nikki, piggybacking on what Pastor Riggins saying, regardless as to whether there's a Hillary or a Clinton fan, we don't. I mean, a Hillary or a Trump fan, we don't necessarily have to address that because we want to talk about what is it going to take to actually get people to become involved. Since most people that I've talked to say that this is one of the worst elections that they feel they've had to participate, or will they just sit on the sideline? From where you sit, Nikki, and what you see. What's your estimation on what will happen in November relative to the comments and the conversations that you might be having with the people that you come in contact with? Did we lose you, Nikki? Okay, Paula, are you out there?
Yes.
Okay, let me throw that question to you, Paula. Do you feel that people will sit on the sideline or they will actually get involved, regardless as to whether they're voting for Clinton or Trump? Let's talk about the generalities of it first before we get off that. What do you think?
I think that a lot of people will vote for Hillary Clinton because she is a Democrat and she's a woman. But I've read so much about her, and I have done so much research on her and her time as Secretary of State and the Clinton Foundation, and I think that she is a despicable person. Mm-hmm. And I think that she is scarier to me than Donald Trump's scary word. Mm-hmm. I think that I'm not a Republican. I never have been. But I think that the Republican leaders will put a damper on him.
So, so your assessment is that you feel that Hillary is worse off than Trump. I want to make sure I'm understanding you.
I think Hillary is just despicable.
Okay. We'll come back to that. Go ahead.
From what I've read.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you this. Before I do that, let me go it on. Nikki, I see that you're back. I know that you dropped. The question was posed to Paula, piggybacking off of what Pastor Riggins said. From where you sit and what you see, do you feel that people will actually get involved, since most people are saying that this is one of the worst, if not the worst, election cycle that they had to become involved in with regards to the presidential candidates, or will they sit on the sidelines and continue to play? From just what you're seeing and where you sit at.
Byron, I think this election is so important. People have a moral responsibility to really vote. I was reading an article about Trump today, and basically, Trump is treated in the press like a white serial shooter is treated. It's almost like they liken him to Latin American dictator, an African despot. He's something other than American. And Trump is as American as apple pie. His xenophobia, his racism, his labeling of other. I've been doing some kind of historical research into the 50s, which were really the start of the civil rights movement. Thurgood Marshall, William Hastie, Charles Houston, and Trump will, and I said it last week, unless you are a white American male of European descent, Trump will knock us back 60, 100 years. He is going to be punitive towards women. Baron, you brought up you have two daughters. Whether it's his racism, whether it's his stand in regard to women's rights. I'm talking about our religious convictions. I'm talking about women's rights that have been gained. Trump will take this country, and I heard Pastor Riggins citing the polls, and the polls never kind of, they always take away the extremes at both ends to get to this mean. But there's a great deal of the American people supporting Trump. Trump is American as apple pie. And unless we want I don't even know if it's a return, unless we want the type of government that Trump is promising, and it's not just about Trump sitting in the White House. I saw yesterday he's talking about bringing Sarah Palin into his cabinet. Maybe a little nominate her for the Supreme Court. He's that erratic. I think psychologists are beginning to come out and talk about not only his narcissism, but questioning his sanity. And, to really look at this man, okay, and I'll get to Hillary in a minute, but to look at this man and say, is this the type of leader that any country wants? It's frightening. It's frightening. His unpredictability, his words, believe them. He's telling you, Paula. Believe them. He's telling you what he'll do. He's shown no respect for media, shown no respect for other politicians. He's shown no respect for former presidents. If you think that will be reined in if he gets into the White House office, the White House, it will not. He's telling us. So there's one choice. There's also the thing that we talked about extensively last week, the Supreme Court. Okay, if Trump gets elected, we have one nomination that he will put in, and I'm not joking when I say he might decide that David Duke should go to the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
and he's erratic. The one thing we all know is erratic. All right, and so we will live with those supreme. So one justice there, and probably in whoever's in the White House for the next 4 years, another position will become available. it will affect the country for the next 30, 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And those decisions, there's been a kind of closed door policy in this current court on where really nothing can go before the Supreme Court that has a racist tone unless something has been uttered.
Okay.
Or unless someone says, yes, I did it for race.
Right.
So, I mean, those things are enough to make me look at Hillary, who have had a moral and problem with the whole time.
Right. And we've expressed that, Nick, and I'll get back to that. Not trying to cut you short, but hold on. Let me bring Pastor Riggins. Pastor Riggins, come on in with your point, because we're going to address specifically what Paula said and then tie in what Nick is saying. So go ahead.
I heard what Paula was saying. First, I want to use the David Lamont on and kind of give us kind of this. A lot of stuff that we're reading, whether it be by Trump or by Hillary, you got to look at the source where it comes from. I understand that a lot of people get upset about the Clinton Foundation, but the Clinton Foundation, the source of it is to help people with poverty and AIDS-stricken countries in Africa and across the world. And so a lot of people in America, it's all about America. In other words, if it's not bringing anything back to America, they're going to find a way to say something wrong with it. And try to find some ties to people who gave to it and it's wrong and all this stuff. That's one point. Second point of it is, and this, stuff. The Supreme Court does something very important. Bill Clinton may even appoint Barack Obama to the Supreme Court. She said, I wasn't even thinking about it. Somebody brought it to us, I wasn't thinking about that. And he might wouldn't even do it. He's a constitutional lawyer. But even if she doesn't appoint him, the people she got around him, even when Barack Obama said she's the most qualified person to ever run, Joe Biden, all these type of people. And look what Trump has around him. David Duke and Paul Manafort, who work for the Ukrainian government and all that stuff. So it's more than just words. It's who they're associated with, what they're doing. Matter of fact, Paul Manafort lied so much yesterday, they got him lying, he started calling Clinton Mr. Trump. He meant to say Mr. Clinton. He was victim of Obama with everything because he was lying. He couldn't even get the words out right because they caught him in a false-face lie because he's involved in Ukraine and with Putin. And that's because Trump doesn't really know what's going on, but Manafort knows what's going on. And so these are the kind of things we got to worry about because he's a puppet. He's really going to be at most any forward and then a puppet for everything that people want to do through him as long as he can pay some money. That's how I look at Trump.
Okay.
I didn't say I was going to vote for him. I think that we only have 100 days left until the election, but we really need a third-party candidate.
And you know what, Paula?
We really need a third-party candidate.
Paula, you probably are 100% correct. And I agree with that. But since we know that in 100 and some odd days, that's not a reality. The reality that we are faced with is the two candidates.
No, Millie.
The reality that we are faced with are the two candidates. And the question is this. It's either we're going to, this is not applicable to you, Paul, it's just in general. It goes to the context of the show tonight. It's either we're going to get out there and vote for somebody, which we have the two choices, or we're going to stay on the sideline and continue to complain that we need a third party. See, Pastor Riggins made a wonderful assertion the other day. Pastor, and I think it was this. People got caught into the man and not the message of Bernie Sanders. But I want you to come in and explain that from your historical standpoint and talk about that a little.
Okay, thanks. As I go into it, the only reason why we can't have a third party is because it's too late to get on all the ballots.
Right.
To the state. And then you got an electoral election, so then it's over with. Yes, what happens, Bernie Sanders came in, I don't think they're saying this. I had told Barron a few months ago that if Bernie Sanders would have won the nomination, I'd have been just as happy as Hillary did. But he was an independent originally, so when he got into the Democratic Party, yes, they did him some things wrong about how they did to the DNC, but his message was strong. And so by his message being strong, everybody latched onto that message. Now that he says, listen, my message goes beyond this election. My message says if we get the right person in, Hillary Clinton, then we could take this message beyond election November 8th. But folks got to demand Bernie Sanders and not the message. And now that he's not running, folk want to get mad. But he said, no, people, let's get the revolution keep going. Our tools, if I may use that word, our tools are going to be here. We can't use a tool called Donald Trump to work. We can use the tool Hillary Clinton be a president of the United States. She's a free to the platform. And now we down ballot, we win the Senate. Down ballot, we might even win the House of Representatives. We then can push our platform, our revolution through Hillary Clinton. But folks are so upset because it's win and they thought it the man and not the message. And the message is bigger than the man. The revolution than first.
So Riggins, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Are you trying to insinuate, or you want to be direct? Are you saying that if should Trump win, that's the end of Bernie Sanders' revolution and Bernie Sanders' message and what we now know as America itself?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. And that's why I thought when the California delegate booed him, he said, "Don't boo me." He said, "You don't want America with Trump." He said, "Don't boo me." Mm-hmm. You gonna hand America to Trump, and you booing me for supporting Hillary Clinton.
So, Nikki, let me ask you this. And go ahead.
Go ahead. It's a suicide situation. In other words, there's no middle to this. It's all one way or another with Trump versus.
So, Pastor, should people put aside, and really, should people just put aside the party and look at? Well, I want to go back to what Paula said. Let me just go because this is kind of bothering me. Let's say Hillary Clinton lied about everything that she's done. Let's assume this. Okay, one of my questions is this: how is it that Hillary is wrong on everything and everybody else is right on what they're saying about her? That's number one. But number two is this: if she lied about everything that she's done, how in the world could Donald Trump, being a bigot and a racist, be a better choice than Hillary Clinton? Somebody answer that for me.
But stuff that Hillary Clinton lied about, if she lied, it's about stuff that's inconsequential to what's going on. In other words, Hillary Clinton did not, this is what the FBI director said, she did not know how to run an email thing. She should never did that. In other words, she was trying to protect her private life and her public life because of all these fights she'd been in, but then she was not technically savvy enough to know how to do it. So that's almost like saying somebody went to go steal a cookie, I saw cookie crumbs around their thing, but it's nothing to do with whether I'm going to live or die or what it's going to affect me. 30,000 emails is her personal life, they had nothing to do with the public, and they keep saying that the ones that were classified didn't have to be classified. So it was a matter of her not knowing how to run the server deal, but they trying to use it. It comes out of Benghazi thing. It all comes out of Benghazi. They did not want, they're trying to say that Barack Obama had no business going to Libya and put down Gaddafi. And so they went in and put down Gaddafi. Then Hillary Clinton went to Congress and said, Congress, please give us money to protect them back. Congress said, we're not giving you no money. You shouldn't have went over there. See, that's what people don't understand. Congress didn't want to give her the money. She just threw that three times money to protect Dr. Stevens. They said, no, we're not giving no money. Then when Stevens got killed, they turned around and said, see, Hillary Clinton, you should spit over there. It's your fault.
So Pastor,
the money to protect the man.
Didn't you tell me, I believe it was somewhere Sunday, where all the Republicans, while Hillary was in Congress, said that she was great to work with and she was a very intelligent person and all this. Talk to me about that a little.
Yeah, as Senator of New York for 2 terms, especially when 9/11 happened, all this stuff, she was able to get assistance on all those committees. Armed Service Committee, Intelligence Committee, that's why she's ready to be Secretary of State. Even as a Secretary of State, they worked with her, except they didn't want her to go into Libya. They all praised her on everything. Said she was very good, worked on both sides of the aisle, but the moment she became a candidate, the political animal comes out. That's how. Let me tell you how you know they worked together so good. I didn't feel Clinton and George W. Bush something they worked so good with Sabrina. That means Bill Clinton and George H.W. Bush and all this stuff. Because why? They had already begun to build relationships and she could work across the aisle. The moment she decided to run, all of a sudden everything that she did was wrong. You see, but they're working with her real well, and then even if you listen to some reporters say secretly, Republican officials tell you that when in Congress and Senators, it's very good work. But now that she's running for President of the United States, we're not putting openly. But why? It's 40 or nothing. It's 40 or bust. 40 or bust. Support Trump. Selma Kane came out today. Damn Trump for everything he said, but never said I repudiate my I'm going to take back my endorsement. What's going on? No, he's saying all that stuff. They won't take back the endorsement because it's party or bust. Because it's bigger than Hillary Clinton. They want to keep America a certain way. It's about Black Lives Matter. It's about people getting a pay raise, $12 or $15 an hour. It's about folks being able to have health care or Obamacare. People don't understand. They choose Hillary and try to use weaknesses against her, but it's really about trying to stop the issue because she's going to continue another 4 years and even better with President Barack Obama. They don't want that. Barack Obama's a fair president to them. Why? Because he's not doing the stuff they want him to do.
So let me ask, Nikki, let me bring this to you and Paula, because you know that for whatever reason, anytime you make the claim that Trump is racist, tell us, in your opinion, from white America, why you see or why you feel Trump is that R word, or he is some of those negative terms that people are calling. Now, let's be fair. Let's back Pastor Riggins and I out of this conversation right now. Nikki, talk to me about why Trump has earned that title, or why does he have that title of being those terms?
Because he told me so. Really simple. Really simple. His comments through the years pre-election. His father was KKK. He's not only, I believe, racist. I think he's xenophobic. His outward, his vocal, his vocalness about Muslims, about women, how he looks at women, how he treats women. He simply because he's told me so. It's nothing that needs to be wondered at. It's nothing that needs to be wondered at. If you look at, I was just reading 10 incidences of his speeches that were racist today. He's telling me. Mm-hmm.
So, Nikki, so let me take this to Paula. So Paula, if in fact you believe that, and I don't know if you do, and you don't have to entertain if you don't want. If Trump is those words that I and Nikki has described, how can, in your own words, how can he be a better candidate than Hillary? Now, I'm only asking this for the context of the conversation to get other people to start thinking, or actually, accept the position that you're giving. So I'm not really trying to challenge you at this point, because you are a co-host of the show. So I don't want to get off of that, but we're having a general conversation about these candidates, because what we're talking about tonight is that the RNC and the DNC, they both have made their pitch to the American people. So we're trying to make an establishment or an indictment on why these people may be this or these people may be that. Talk to me about that, Paula. Why do you think Trump might be a better candidate than Hillary?
Oh, I don't. I would never vote for Trump. Mm-hmm. But what's interesting
okay, I see where you're going.
That I've heard in the polls that they are the two most disliked candidates in history.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, nobody likes either one of them. Mm-hmm. I will not vote for Trump. Mm-hmm. I think that he has no experience in government. He says he's a good businessman. He has declared bankruptcy 4 times. He's put thousands and thousands of people out of work. He has promised to pay contractors, which he did not do. He's a despicable human being. I would never, ever vote for him. I'm not saying that I love Hillary.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I know things about Hillary that disturb me greatly. Mm-hmm. And she said all the right words during her candidacy. But what scares me is that once she gets into the Oval Office, she's going to turn around, and honestly, I think she's going to throw Bernie under the bus.
In what way?
And
in what way, Nikki? And Paula, I'm sorry.
Well, I think that, you know, he can go back and be a senator, but I think he deserves more.
What do you think he deserves?
Because I think he deserves to be Speaker of the House, or
and Paula, again,
something like that.
Paula, yeah, again, I'm not trying to challenge you because I want people to understand what we're talking about. Okay, let's assume Speaker of the House. Is that something that can be blamed on Hillary, or is that something can be blamed on the 100 United States senators that's there? Who determines that?
The 100 senators that are there.
So, and the reason why I'm asking, so you're thinking that, and I'm trying to help you out. If Hillary becomes that particular person, do you think that he would have to be the Senate Majority Leader because, number one, he's not in the United States Congress, he's in the United States Senate. But if he became the Senate Majority Leader, are you saying that that's something that you would like to see Hillary get out there and push rather than not saying anything? Is that kind of what you're trying to relate to?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
They say that they've been friends for a long time, and in the last month or two, they have she's been mimicking his proposal.
Okay, Paula. Paula, I think I'm getting what you're saying. What you're saying is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, you can come in your own way. What you're saying is if Hillary wins, rather than her sit back and not say nothing, you want her to be out front, vocal in supporting some of those things that Bernie was actually trying to implement. Because I want to make sure that people understand why you and others have that passion, that burning passion for Bernie, and why you feel that he could be potentially be thrown under the bus. So is that what you're saying? Because I want people to understand you loud and clear.
Well, I think he'll go back and be in the Senate. Mm-hmm. And I think he'll go back to his old job. And I think he's been a good senator. He's never changed. He's never taken money. He's an honest man. He's not let a lot of bills go through with a lot of pork belly in them. He's prevented some things from happening, and he has done some very, very good things. Mm-hmm. I do believe that he was never meant to win because of the big money interests that everything that he was for.
Right. But Paula, see, Pastor Riggins and I talked about this, and I'll let him come in. See, a revolution is multifaceted. It doesn't just have one layer. So Bernie has done what no other candidate has done. He exposed a lot of things that people in America, progressives, are no longer going to allow those things happen. When you look at, Hillary does not want to be a one-term president. So in order for her to make it from that one term to the second term, guess what she's going to have to do? She's going to have to adopt a lot of those things that Bernie has put forward. Now, let me bring Pastor Riggins, then I'm going to bring Nikki back in, and then I'm going to open up the line. Pastor Riggins, come on in.
Yes, I'm going to give Paula some consolation. This is what it's shaping to be. The understanding is that if Hillary Clinton wins and the Senate is given back to Democrats, Bernie is going to become budget chairman. That's the most powerful position you can have besides being...
Yes, sir. Appropriations Committee.
Yeah, he's right. That's what Paul Ryan had.
Right.
Paul Ryan had that. He was controlling Congress that way, the House of Representatives. Mm-hmm. Budget's going to control the money. In other words, you can't nothing can come through out of committee unless Bernie says to come out of committee.
Come on, Pastor. Come on.
With the money. So that's the most power. Whoever holds the purse strings got the most power, really. So Chuck Schumer is going to become the majority leader because he's in line for it. Because they go by, that's how they do it by.
Right, seniority.
Remember, Bernie's been an independent all the while, but he's been caucusing with the Democrats. So he's going to be the budget. He's going to be controlling the budget, the money. Chuck Schumer's going to control the gavel. That's all you need for Bernie to say no pork. He's going to say no. We need a highway bill to go through. Build all this infrastructure. Don't do it. We don't want money to go this way. We're not going to let money go that way. So he's going to be in the cabinet. That's so I want to give consolation that that's what's going to happen with him. That's what they've been talking about. In the platform, his stuff is in the platform.
Right.
You can't run from the platform.
Right. Which means, Pastor, and correct me if I'm wrong, from a historian. You've been teaching history for 20 some odd years. So what we're saying again is that the revolution, it can continue regardless as to whether Bernie is the president or not. Correct?
Yeah, right.
Okay, and the revolution not only starts with Bernie, but it ends up with the people that he's ignited to get and become involved in the revolution, right?
Yes, sir. Right.
So let me throw this question to Nick.
Biggest part of the revolution.
Go ahead, Pastor. Go ahead.
2018, the people behind Bernie have to go out and vote to make sure that we get the House back or keep the House or keep the Senate. That's the next move of the revolution. After November 8th,
yes, sir.
2018, we control both houses. That's how it works. Because one person is the president only signs a bill. They only can try to push policy. But who makes the policy is the House and the Senate. Mm-hmm. And so that's where the revolution ought to go there.
Right. So Nikki Bedrick, let me ask you, this is what's really bothering me. For those who are supporting Trump. Now, Pastor, I believe from a historical standpoint, Paula, there have always been 3 national televised debates once the nominees have been chosen. Nikki Bedrick, how can anybody even consider Donald Trump now when he's insinuating that he may not debate Hillary Clinton nationally? Talk to me about that.
I don't know how anybody can consider Donald Trump, period, but he's got, I think a Donald Trump supporter is a Donald Trump supporter. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he's not debating, or the fact that he wants Russia to find the email, or he'll shoot somebody in the face and still not lose votes. Those people he has. Mm-hmm. I think what's happening is more intelligent Republicans are backing away from him. And I was reading today that some of those more intelligent Republicans are actually leaving the party, okay, because they're frightened as to what this man will do. So I think I don't know how anyone can support Trump, but Trump is what Trump is, and Trump supporters are what Trump supporters are. I think, to go back to what Pastor Riggins was saying and Paula was saying about, and you, Baron, about the revolution, Bernie ignited youth, and more young people registered to vote because of Bernie, and got interested in politics. We have the millennials, and I do believe that Bernie ignited. We also have all of these grassroots organizations working, who really understand that, hey, a revolution isn't going to happen overnight. Castro was running around for a long time before he took the government to Cuba. It does not happen overnight. It happens with people being disaffected, feeling that they're not represented, and that's what Bernie ignited. Mm-hmm. And I think that is what will continue. I think there's an understanding, and we've all got to promote that understanding, that voting is the tool. We need to get out there at all kinds of levels to vote to get these Republicans and obstructionists out of office. I think what Pastor Riggins was saying, and I think what struck me with the DNC convention, because I was holding now, I have I think I've been very vocal about my opposition towards Mrs. Clinton. But I stood and I watched Bernie Sanders supporter, endorse her. I watched Elizabeth Warren endorse her. I watched President Obama endorse her. I watched Michelle Obama endorse her. I watched Joe Biden endorse her. What the hell was I holding out for? Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what, Nikki? That's an excellent point And I'll tell you, let me bring Pastor Riggins back in, because he's got a comment. Then what I'm going to do is open up the lines for anybody that's out there who may want to call in. Go ahead, Pastor Riggins.
Can I talk for just a second?
Yeah. I'll bring in Paula right after Pastor Riggins.
Yes,
Okay.
I have one point to agree with what Nikki was saying about the Republican Party. I don't feel sorry for them, though. They brought this on themselves. The Tea Party and Sarah Palin, Ted Cruz, all of them came in saying, we want our country back. We want our country back. And then they said, Mitch McConnell and there's a guy that that retired after the Pope came to town.
Yeah, John Boehner.
John Boehner. He even played Obama like a fiddle by going out playing golf with him all the time and stabbing him in the back. They all said, we're not successful at all. We will not be successful. We want our country back. Donald Trump stepped back. He was a Democrat. Hillary Clinton would have not ran for president. If Hillary Clinton would have not ran for president, that's why he called Bill Clinton the night before he went to go run. If she would not ran for president, he would have ran as a Democrat. Now, he saw the opening in the Republican Party. Because he looked at last time with 999 and all them kind of people, Mitt Romney, thought they was all weak. And what I got to do is come in, and the first thing I'm going to do is say, we need to build a wall. And he came in, talk about building a wall, the issue. He got the hot point issue, immigration. And he just built it from there. And built it from there, and folks called, and everybody want their country back, wanted to make America great again. And he got that base, that 30%, that 36% of Republican base is what he got. And that's all he's going to have. But he created this thing and knocked all of them out. And when he knocked all those people out, they brought on themselves. Without this election, if Hillary Clinton loses, we're going to have it's going to be a big thing about where's America going. It's going to be dangerous. But when Donald Trump loses, notice I said when, not if. When he loses, it's going to be a set on the Republican Party, and they might even split up into a couple of parties, or Ted Cruz will become the champion of their hero because he went up there and stood against Donald Trump. He's going to be the hero to rise against Hillary Clinton next time to run for president. And I digress.
Go ahead, Paula.
What I was going to say about the political revolution that Bernie started, that is going to go on and on and on. Right now, there are, I believe, 700 progressive, Bernie-thinking people that have registered for some type of office in the United States. And Debbie and I last night were talking because we've got a Missouri election tomorrow. And we were talking about, who would be the best to vote for. But I think that what's going to happen is really the president can't do a whole lot without Congress. And if we can clean house in Congress and get the crooked money grabbers out and the people that are actually interested in serving their constituents in, and it's going to take a long time. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. And I think this is going to continue and continue and continue. And I think that's the best thing. And Bernie has always said, it's not about me getting elected or not elected. It's about changing the face of the country. And I think in that respect, he has been very successful.
Okay, let me open up the lines right now. If we have any caller that's out there, I'm going to ask the technician to open up the lines, administrator, I'm sorry, to open up the lines. If we have any caller or callers that are out there, I see them out there. If you would like to join in the conversation tonight, RNC, DNC, whatever it is that you'd like to talk about. We're talking about Trump and Clinton. The Republicans and the Democrats have presented their ideologies, some which are diametrically opposed to what constitutes the welfare of the country and its citizens. Talk to us. We got any caller that's out there who would like to come in at this time, you may do so. Come in, caller. there being no voices, we're going to go back to those that are out there hosting. Go ahead on, Paula, and finish up what you were saying.
Just what I was saying is I think that the American people are inherently good. I think that we have come a long, long way from way back. I mean, shoot, the Founding Fathers owned slaves. And it's come so far up until now, and there will always be crooks. And there will always be that 1% that are money grabbers and power grabbers. But I think that people of good character are running on grassroots campaigns, and they are in it for the right reasons. And I think if we can vote down ballot and get those people into our Congress, then I think at that point things are going to start changing.
Mm-hmm. Right. But like Pastor Riggins is saying, see, Democrats become lazy in the off-season elections, the midterm elections, which is what got Barack. See, just electing Barack will not just get things done. Before we go any further, Aaron Hopkins is out there doing his job tonight out there in Dallas, Texas. He's out there on the line listening. We got Dr. Sally Broder from San Francisco, California, that's out there listening. Come on in, Pastor Riggins. You got another point. Come on in.
Yes, sir. Just to help out what you just said, in each state, we've allowed the Republicans to do gerrymandering in a lot of states, the red states, where, for instance, in Texas, Republicans control Austin. So they draw up districts that give Sheila Jackson Lee a quarter of a city, and then they'll take up the rest of the city and divide it between 4 or 5 different Republicans so they have more representatives. So in the middle years, we have to work twice as hard to get people in because they have gerrymandered. So two things have to happen. We got to get Supreme Court justices that would overturn Citizens United to get the money out of it, and number two, they would overturn gerrymandering. And that's why Hillary Clinton got to become president. Stuff like that. It's simple things like that.
So A.F. Riggins, talk to me, doctor. I see you just posted a minute ago where breaking news, New York Times exposes Trump campaign manager for being on Russian payroll. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, see, here's what happened. Donald Trump came in and he wanted to run his own campaign with his buddy, the one that the family finally fired. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Limwowski or whatever his name is.
Right. We can start pronouncing names like that.
Go ahead.
I can't do it.
Go ahead. That's okay, Pastor. Go ahead.
They heard about Manafort because Manafort ran Ford campaign. And so Donald Trump said, let me go back and get Manafort. Two things were going on. Number one, he knew about Manafort because that's why we can't see his taxes, I believe. Donald Trump has been dealing with Russia on a lot of things, money-wise. Because, remember, I found out this past week that the American banks had stopped loaning money to Donald Trump. You know, he had 6 bankruptcies, not 4. They stopped loaning money to him. China's been loaning money. And Russia's been loaning him money. And so Manafort went in to help the president of Ukraine become president. When that president left and went back to Putin, and Putin invaded Crimea, Manafort was involved in all that. And that's why he's on a payroll with those people. But he's trying to say, that's why he was lying. He was lying yesterday because they asked him. And he said, no, I'm not involved in none of that stuff. That's my past life. You think I'm a past life? Like that's like, okay, that's like saying Bill Clinton never did have a relationship with Monica Lewinsky. That's just like saying that George Bush never did invade Iraq. So you can't say that now all of a sudden I'm the president. So Donald Trump went and grabbed him. He grabbed and latched on to Putin. And that's what he did. And that's what Putin did was they went and hacked the DNC. They was hoping to find some stuff to pull down Hillary Clinton, but all he did was show the fight between the DNC. You're going to have fights like that all the time.
Hey, so AF, let me throw this at you. Now, John Podesta, which is Clinton campaign chairman, is reportedly has ties to an investment fund backed by Russia? Talk to me.
Pot
can't call the kettle black, huh?
Right. But the point of it is not Hillary Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
And if John Podesta says, yes, there's some stuff, some investments, some business investment.
But wouldn't it go back to what Bernie's saying? It's not necessarily her, it's the choices that she's making.
Right. Also, but the point of it is that John Podesta may have some business dealings. Mm-hmm. Trump may have business dealings with Russia. If we could see it in the taxes, we could know.
Mm-hmm.
The Manafort has political dealings with Russia. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But they went into the RNC platform now and says now, in the RNC platform, we back Putin to go take Ukraine. We back Putin to be in Crimea. We back Putin against NATO, really, because that's NATO countries. You see, that's why he's saying we need to. That's why he's saying something about NATO. We now want to back Putin. He said today. He said he's making a speech today about. I don't know why we'll not be friends with Russia, but to get together with Russia and go fight ISIS. He's trying to make us sound just peachy. Obama's the one that want to fight against Russia. No, sir. Russia did this in 1947 when they built a wall and started communism. This is Lenin and Stalin and all of them did this. This is the Bay of Pigs. This is the Cuban Missile Crisis. This is Vietnam. Come on, this is North and South Korea. We didn't start this. Mr. Gorbachev tear down his wall. I'm in my history thing. But this is where it comes from. But he's trying to act like it just now started Obama and Putin. Because he makes it to be like a reality show. It's not a reality show.
Mm-hmm.
It's about nuclear arms race. Do you know that if he put his hand on the button, he's going to end up shooting a missile at China or shooting a missile at Iraq, and then Russia's going to get mad and shoot a missile at us. We're going to be in World War III. Let me tell you something. Our kids going to be going to war. You can imagine if a missile hit one of our missiles hit New Orleans. It'll contaminate everything up to Colombia for the next 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
What? You know what I'm saying? This is the kind of stuff we're dealing with. We're dealing with an idiotic, crazy guy. That's what Bloomberg is saying. He's insane. And I know I get real passionate, but this is what we're dealing with. The choice is not even close with Hillary Clinton.
Hey, AF, Pastor Riggins, Nikki and Paul, I got a question that was just submitted, rather, that says, what about all the millions that foreign countries have poured into a campaign? Somebody said they read somewhere. Talk to me.
Yeah, Trump's campaign. Trump been asking for money from.
To Hillary's campaign.
No, that ain't for the money to Hillary's campaign. That's some money they put into the
foundation?
Clinton Foundation.
Okay, but
this stuff is regulated by the FCC. You know this, every time we get this reporting, these are nonpartisan oversight committees that go and look into where the money is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But they do have reports. And they've even filed complaints against Donald Trump, and he's been begging foreign people to give him money.
So AF Riggin, let me ask you this. Since you're so passionate, and you've been from day one, and we've respected that, do you feel that people are just unfair to Hillary and they are making her out to be something that she's not? Have she earned these titles? Talk to me about Clinton.
Okay, let me tell you, 80% are fair, 20% are false. Let me tell you why. I started watching Clinton in 1992. I was fresh out of college, and I was, a journalist, public relations, history teacher, and all this stuff. So I started watching, Al Gore, Bill Clinton. The moment Whitewater came out, it was a witch hunt. It's just like if you and I go and buy some land, Barry, and we buy the land at cheap. It's like Trump buy a hotel cheap, and turn around and sell it, and make money off of it. But everybody tries to say we cheated somebody to do it. That's what the Whitewater thing was on.
Mm-hmm.
But in the middle of Bill Clinton had some first issues, and Bill Clinton's biggest first issue is this. He messed with women all the time, and he's still married. Hillary Clinton said, it was personal to me, number one, I can't get in that personal life. But personally, she said, I'm standing by my man. But second of all, not only just stand by my man, but I want to be involved in politics and public service. Bill Clinton is a political genius. I'll overlook what he's doing in his personal life. That's my husband, and I'll deal with it. And that's why the Monica Lewinsky case was so bad, because he had got to the point where I think he told her, I quit. I'm president of the United States, I quit. I'm going to be a good boy. He was not a good boy. When he went out there to the stand, he didn't want his wife to know what he was doing. Everybody knew he was a playboy. He didn't want his wife to know. I had no sexual relation. He thought if he can get by, Hillary would never find out. And then when it came out, said, come out once again and say, I stand by my man. Folk in America would rather Hillary Clinton would have divorced him, became Hillary Rodham again. They've been happy for her to be Hillary Rodham again, and they would have respected her, I believe, a lot of people, because they wanted her to put him down. And she did not put him down. But she moved on to New York and became a senator. And then sometimes, because of all the stuff around her, she tries to protect herself. But she's very calculating. She takes sides for an interview, she want to interview. Sides want to give a press conference, she want to give a press conference. Sides want to have her own server. That kind of stuff is 20% that hurts her. But all her life, except our kids, I heard the other day went to campaign in 1996. Down in Chicago and everywhere, she put kids all on the front row, for them to come here to speak. And then she'd actually come out the back door to the limo and talk to all these and fast up on and everything. She's always trying to help out people, and it's people of color, folks, the people of color. And that's why she has a problem. But 20% of it is herself, too. But 8% of it is on the witch hunt with them all the time.
Okay, Pastor, the doctor says what Pastor Riggins is saying is proven but what Trump has been doing over the last couple of days with his attacking the Gold Star family. Nikki, talk to me about him attacking the Gold Star family, the veteran, I believe, that got killed or something like that. Pastor, either one of you guys can talk to me about it.
Let Pastor do it, because I just kind of saw that, so I'm not schooled.
Okay, here's what happened. This guy in 2004, notice I said 2004, because Trump said Obama sent this border war. No. George W. Bush sent this border war, 2004. His dad came over to get education in the United States. Loved the United States, a Muslim. Brought his wife over. They had kids over here. The kids grew up. One of the kids is a lawyer. He's some professional business. But this guy was going to be a lawyer. But dad is a lawyer. But instead of being a lawyer, said, before I go to law school, I'll go fight this war. And went out and fought and got killed in the war. What Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama have been doing over the last 2 years is going back and looking at all these families, whether they fought under Obama or families that fought under Bush. There were people of other colors and people from other nations that say, listen, we embrace you. We know you're supposed to be the Muslims are the best ones to fight against radical Islam. Or the people that say this is not Islam. So they embraced this man. Hillary Clinton met this man and just said, would you please come to the convention? They didn't tell us anything to speak. They said, just go up there and say how that you know you're American and that what your son fought and died for. What we didn't know that the man was just so passionate that he began to talk about Donald Trump does not know anything about the Constitution. He says he loves America so much he keeps the Constitution in the pocket with him. He says even at his house he gives our Constitution to other people that come to visit from this country. And he pulled that Constitution out and said, have you even read the Constitution? Donald Trump is instead of leaving it alone. Because you remember the lady whose son got killed in the war, and she got there, Shaheen, and all that time in front of Bush down and across and everything. You know what Bush said about her in the 2004 election? She lost her son, she needs to breathe, I ordered her son and left her alone.
Right.
No, Donald Trump came out and said the man was attacking him, saying that the wife could not talk because she was Muslim. And the mama was, what it is, the boy been dead for 12 years. She said when she saw his picture, she said, I get so overwhelmed, I got scared, the big crowd. I was going to break down crying. I didn't want to embarrass myself. He talked about the boy's mama. He talked about the man. And then finally now he's talking about I honor the man's service, but his daddy is still attacking me. When you're going to attack a normal citizen, I'm a president of the United States, bearing a citizen, I'm going to attack a citizen. I don't need to attack a citizen. All I need to do is keep talking about how Hillary Clinton has not done her job against ISIS. He attacks anybody. That's just what Hillary Clinton said. You can bait him with a tweet, you can bait him with anything. He will attack anybody and everything because it's all about Donald Trump, the beginning, and the last. And so now John McCain, Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, all the Republican guys said, wait a minute, we have to honor the Gold Star Club says this is not about Republicans and Democrats, to apologize. The veterans of foreign wars we spoke to last week that we don't want to endorse him. He needs to apologize. I believe this is the beginning of the nail in the coffin for him because you cannot attack American citizens who gave his life for America in the name of trying to keep your name as Donald Trump. That doesn't work.
Got a comment out here that says politics in its current form will not allow any type of revolution to overcome itself. The people who really understands the power of unity of the common woman and man of this country will produce a new way system of government. Neither candidate nor party are in the recipe and will be crushed under the weight of grassroots organizations not bought by corporate power. That's from Mr. Aaron Hopkins. Nikki, you always respond with Aaron. What do you think about that? You agree or disagree?
I agree with Aaron. I have from the beginning felt that the grassroots organizations are, they're moving. There's a movement, and it's young and it's fervent, and it refuses to be silenced. I think I think Black Lives Matter. I think Color of Change. I think Move On. In the fight for racial justice. I mean, I think what's being attempted to be done to Black Lives Matter now is the same attempt that was done to the civil rights movement in the 60s, the Panthers. But, it's a different era, it's a different day, it's a different age. I think the grassroots organizations that Bernie started, with young people registering, I think people are just saying, hey, enough, and enough of them is all we need. And I think it will not happen overnight. I think that there's a recognition from top to bottom that the system needs to be overhauled everywhere. Mm-hmm. I don't think it can take a tweaking. I don't think it can take a small gesture or a voice anymore. I also think that there's a fight for the soul of the Democratic Party right now. And I think Hillary has to pay attention to that. She has to pay attention to it. And I think that we have to work within that system as it is right now. And if Trump is elected, there will be chaos. There won't be a hope to work under. I mean, what Trump will do in the first 2 weeks is just, I'm afraid of his executive orders. I'm afraid of all of those things. He'll create chaos. So if there's going to be hope, that things are going to change, and people of good conscience are going to speak up, and we're going to change it at that grassroots level. I don't think we can afford Trump in the White House.
But see, here's why I have a problem, Nikki, Pastor Riggins, and Paula. I love Pastor Riggins to death. Okay, but if Pastor Riggins comes out tomorrow and says that he hates all white people, I don't care what kind of support I have for Pastor Riggins. I'm rescinding my support because, see, I just don't think you can split. Well, let me just put it this way. I was always taught you never straddle a fence, especially if it's a barbed wire fence. Okay, you're either for or you're against. There's no middle of the road. So if I'm for Pastor Riggins, I'm for those things that are right. If Pastor Riggins comes out tomorrow and says that he is absolutely against this, or he feels like there should be two Americas, Pastor Riggins does no longer have my support. So I find it hard when anybody, regardless of who it is, because straddling a fence, let me just put it this way. If you straddle a fence, then as far as I'm concerned, we really can't be friends. Why? Because when I go to battle, I need to make sure that I got somebody on my shoulder that I can lean on, that I can depend on. And if you're straddling the fence, how do I know that you're not straddling the fence against me or towards me? So when you look at all of these other people who coming out and talking about he's saying this and he's saying that action speaks louder than words to me. So to make a long story short, Pastor Riggins, Paula, and Nikki, what is it that people can do to get from off of the sidelines and get involved and stop complaining? Okay, we have Hillary Clinton, and we have Donald Trump, and we have the Green Party, and we have Garrett Johnson, and whoever else is out there. Nikki, in your opinion, if you vote for Jill or Johnson, do you feel that is a vote that's being thrown away against a Hillary for Trump, or against Trump and for Hillary? How do you look at that?
I do. I look at it as a wasted vote. Neither one of them have a chance of winning. Okay? So to me, if you're a Democrat and you vote for Jill Stein, and I would love to see her. Okay? And I have a problem with Hillary. I've said it. I don't believe Pastor Riggins. I beg to differ. Saudi Arabia funded that. She will not speak up for women's rights in Saudi Arabia. There's lots of problems with that foundation, and I believe Hillary's left a wake of bodies in her tenure in public service. Much more so, other people suffer for her bad decisions. So I am not a Hillary lover, but I absolutely believe that a vote for Jill Stein or a vote for Gary Johnson is a vote taken away from Hillary and in essence given to Trump. And I think that the stakes are too high in this election. I think that things like the Supreme Court, the future of government, the future of democracy, if you will, if we have any shot in trying to with a process which was broken, because it is broken, it's no malfunctioning, it's a broken system that needs to be fixed from the bottom up and the top down. We're not going to have a shot at that with Trump. So yeah, I believe that a vote for any of the third party or for any of the other candidates, I think this is a vote either for Trump or for Hillary in this election.
Mm-hmm. Let me the same question to you, Paula, and we'll go to Pastor Riggins.
I agree. I think that going to one of the fringe smaller parties is probably a wasted vote. But I will give people information about Jill Stein. She is not a one-issue candidate. She is very similar to Bernie Sanders in her thinking, and even takes it a little bit farther. I think that if she gets enough attention between now and 2020, I think she may have a good shot. But I think right now, I don't think that a vote for her is, I don't think it's going to do any good.
Pastor Riggins, come on in.
It's and I agree with what both the ladies said, and I'm going to say this. It's the apathetic or the lack of involvement of the voters that's causing this. Between now and 2020, if we want to have a third-party candidate or someone grassroots, we have to organize. See, those of us on this phone right now, we get involved, but how many other thousands of folks in each one of our neighborhoods are not involved? We have to organize on every ballot, on time, legally, so they can have primaries that will represent even the third-party candidate or a grassroots candidate, and so we can have at least 15% of the vote to even make it to the debate. See, these are the kind of stuff. Right now, we're passionate, we're talking about it, but then after the election over with, everybody chills out. So they have to go and get organized so they can be able to have a real candidate. Just having someone, because like Barron and I, people might like those things we're saying, and they might say, hey, Barron, go represent the United States. He said, well, I'm not going to be a Democrat or Republican. I need to have my own party. I need to have some Citizens United, whatever, party. Or, I'm just making up a name, Community United. Well, then we got to get Community United on every ballot in the United States, in every state. And that's what happens. We talk a lot as Americans. That's what I'm talking on the phone. But then we don't go do what we need to do in the structure and the organization. And then we say, well, we don't have nobody representing us because we don't give the people the lane to represent us in. We got to get them a lane to get them to represent us. That's what we have to do going forward.
Pastor Paula and Nikki, see, I look at this different. I think we do a disservice when we tell people that they are wasting their vote because they decide to vote for somebody that they identify with, that they have a philosophy with, that they have the courage to actually get in this race and actually win. Again, the only reason why I have considered changing is because from a biblical pastor, spiritual standpoint, sometimes we have to remove ourselves to see the greater good of what's going on. And the greater good in this instance, in fact, is my two girls' future. Okay? So to say that it's a wasted vote to go for Jill Stein or Johnson or whoever, maybe some people just have a principle that they're not willing to settle, but they're willing to sacrifice and vote for a person that they go for. And I'm not disputing what you guys are saying, because we have other people out there listening. I don't want them to get discouraged because they feel like Trump and Hillary is not the better candidates, and I feel the same way. And Nikki, you feel the same way. Paula, you feel the same way. Pastor Regan, you feel opposite, and we've all respected that. I got a question right here that was submitted. Paula, you may want to answer this question. Why wouldn't Bernie run again after building such strong support this go around? You think it'll be too old? Go ahead, Riggins. Paula, go ahead, Paula first.
Well, he made a promise that he would not leave the Democratic Party, and he is a man of his word.
But he's going back to independent, right?
I hope so. I think if he went back to independent, I think he could win.
Mm-hmm.
But I also believe that people should vote their conscience.
Okay. Go ahead, Riggins.
Yes. If Hillary Clinton wins, I think he's going to remain Democrat, so he can be able to have that position I was telling you all about. If Hillary Clinton loses, he can remain independent because he has nothing to lose in having that position. But, in other words, they're not really, if you pay attention, that's the sad thing about the fact that the two-party system. There are no independents who have these positions, these leading chairmanships in these parties, in these houses. So he would remain with Democrats that can hold that position. And then, of course, because he's holding that position, I don't think he would run again. But if Hillary Clinton loses, he will run again, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Nikki, what do you think?
Again, I heard what you said, Baron, and again, I think it's a deep question that people ask themselves. I know I had to ask myself it, but I'm really concerned that, and it says someone's absolute right to vote their conscience and how they see fit. But I think the question we need to, or the question I've had to ask myself is if Trump gets in, and it will be between Trump and Hillary, the other candidates do not have a shot, what do I want the world to look like for my children?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so I think for the greater good, I think this one is so important. It's not an ordinary election, okay? It's not, I stated it the whole way through since I've been on the show. I have a moral problem with Hillary.
Mm-hmm.
But when I sit back and I look at what would it look like with Trump now, what would it look like 10 years from now?
Yeah.
What would the world look like for my children? I got to put mine aside and say, hey, you know what? The stakes are too high here. And principally, I'm talking about the Supreme Court.
Right, Nikki, which is why I guess I'm a little bit harder on people. Pastor Regan sometimes have to call me and give me a little insight. You see, I'm just like this. I'm wanting somebody to tell me if Trump has all of these adjectives that have been placed on him, and you tell me that you are for justice, equality, unity, equal rights, women's rights, all of these other constitutional rights that are afforded to anybody, immigrant or born here. How can you consciously support Trump and think that you're going to be around me every day and talking to me? You know, I don't like fake people. I don't like people that throw a rock and hide. Throw a rock and hide that. You know, I'm just not that guy. You know, my thing is just be real. Okay, just be real. So for anybody that's out there voting for Trump, I would like for somebody to explain to me what is it that you see in him that makes you want to support him, but at the same time knowing that he's against diversity, he's against equality. Like Nick has said, when a person tells you who they are, you better believe them. If you don't, you're a fool. Pastor, Nikki, Paula, or anybody else, address that for me.
I think that Trump would divide the country. and I think that he would take us back 50 years at least. And I think that there would be the racial problems that we had back in those days. I think that he would have us in perpetual war, possibly on our own soil. I think that I don't know what his deal is with Putin. I think Putin thinks that, you know, he would like to support Donald Trump because he could use him as a puppet. But I really think that Donald Trump would take us back. He said, I wrote him a tweet the other day, and I said, exactly what year was it, Donald, that you think America was so great? I mean, come on, it's taken us 100 years to get from where we were to where we are now. And from where we are now to where we're going in the next 50 years should be into a better place.
Okay, right. Hey, Pastor Riggins, Dr. Riggins, we got about 6 or 7 minutes left. I want you to render your summation to the jury as to why people should exercise their right to vote. Even though you're voting for Hillary, I'm almost certain, being a student of politics and a historian, that you will urge everybody to go out and vote regardless. Come talk to me, Pastor.
Yes, sir. When the Constitution was written, only white males that own property could vote.
Come on.
And African Americans were considered to be 3/5 of a human being to own property. Dred Scott could not even go to court, take a case to court because he was not a citizen. Women had no right to read or go to school or vote. Ann Hutchinson, the preacher back then, the Puritan, before during that time, they kicked her out of Massachusetts and she went to Rhode Island because women had no rights. And it went to the 1900s that the women got the right to vote. And African Americans got it on paper in the 15th Amendment, but didn't realize in 1965. So now in 2016, if you stay home and don't vote, it's like all the blood has been shed, all the tears have been shed, all of the sweat, all of the work that's been worked for through Thurgood Marshall, through all these people, Frederick Douglass, and that worked so hard, and Martin Luther King Jr., and Medgar Evans, and all these guys that gave their lives for this cause, and we sit back and claim, well, because Hillary Clinton is maybe crooked or because Donald Trump is this, that. We got to go out and vote. But I don't care who you vote for, but go vote. I know who I'm voting for, but I believe that we have the right to vote.
Hey, Nikki Beckford, come on in. Nikki, come on in. I'm going to give Paul an opportunity. Pastor Riggins, I don't care where he's at. He's been a Hillary fan from day one. I respect and applaud that. He's never gotten out of order. He's always been decent and in order, even when talking with other people who actually troll his page. I've never seen Pastor have to delete anyone until last week, and I understand why. Come on in, but come on in, Nikki. We got about, if I can divide 2 minutes with you and 2 minutes with Paula.
I always feel like I'd like to be in Pastor Riggins' church because, the blood has been shed, the tears have been shed, the soil's been drenched in blood. For some of these rights that just human dignity rights. I think we went to sleep for about 20, 30 years and then woke up and found that we're pretty much in the same kind of place with a different system. And I think to put Trump in office, I think is just it's almost a crime against humanity.
Wow.
I think it's all of the rights, civil rights, women's rights, everything. I think the blood has been shed, and I think as a nation who might be interested in trying to right some wrongs, we have a moral obligation to have that man in office.
Paula Stafford, come on in and talk to him. We got about I'm going to give you a minute and 30 seconds or 2 minutes. Let me see if you can sum us up. Otherwise, I'm about to jump in. Come on.
I agree with Nikki. I agree with everything she just said. And I think we've made too much progress to go back. I think that our racial tensions have eased. I think, well, I anyway, don't have a problem between any, what would you call it?
That's okay.
Any group.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Any group.
Uh-huh.
I think it's the people, and honestly, I think the people that Trump draws to his rallies are really a very small percentage of the way that people really feel in this country.
Okay. Once again, tonight's topic was, what will you do now that the presidential candidates have made their case to the American voter? Will you sit on the sidelines and complain? Or will you vote for the candidate that you best identify with? Will it be Clinton or will it be Trump? Because we know that it has been a defining moment in American history in 2016. The two ideologies are so diametrically opposed to what constitutes the welfare of the country and its citizens. The DNC and the RNC both have made their case for America to choose its next president. Both sides have made it clear on the issues and policies they feel will move this country forward or backward. You've been listening to the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass, tonight joined by Pastor A.F. Riggins, senior pastor, founder of Real Life Church out of Houston, Texas, also known as Dr. Riggins. Also been joined by Miss Nikki Bedrick from Las Vegas, Nevada. Also Miss Paula Stafford from Columbia, Missouri. We're missing tonight Miss Debbie Dilks, who was I believe in the Secretary of State's office today. I saw a photo op where she was changing from a Democrat to an independent. Also, we're missing tonight Mr. Dave Lamont, screens from the center out of Aurora, Colorado, along with Mr. Aaron Hopkins from Dallas, Texas, and Miss Vanessa Ghazi. Out there on the live chat line, we have Miss Belinda and Dr. Sally Broder. Want to thank all of those out there on the line that are listening. We know that the lines have been lit up. They are green. For whatever reason, we can't get them to talk, but we are glad that you decided to tune in. We're glad that you decided to tune in. And once again, thanks for tuning in to the broadcast. Continue to support us. Check Pastor Riggins out on Wednesday nights with Real People, Real Life, Real Answers on Blog Talk Radio, Blog Talk USA, on Blog Talk Radio as we are. Check him out on Sunday nights with Real People, Real Life, Real Answers. Also, my good friend and good colleague from Longview, Texas, Mr. Brandon Johnson, his show live on Thursday nights, the same time that we air the Gumbo Mix featuring Brandon Johnson, one of the best guys that's out there. Also, we're going to get a chance, hopefully, to hear Pastor A.F. Riggins preach to us Sunday night after the trail ride. We're going to allow him to come in and give a word of God and give us a sermon. So looking forward to those who can come out and check Pastor Riggins out. Thanks once again to everybody. Nikki, good night. Paula, good night. Pastor Riggins, good night. And all of those out there listening on the live link, whether you listen to Spreaker or Blog Talk Radio, Blog Talk USA, Blog Talk Radio rather, or if you're out there listening on the line at 773-897-6398. I can tell you this. We don't have the answers to everything, but I can guarantee you this. We're not afraid to mess with a hornet's nest. We're not afraid to mess with a wasp's nest. We're not afraid to mess with any kind of nest, because at the end of the day, when the smoke is clear and the dust is settled, all we're trying to do is make a difference. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Aaron. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Paul. I'll pass.